Let's pick some music for this, shall we? Ah, here we go. Perfect. Let me move myself. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to read Jaw of the Dragon by Cody Lee. Page 1 of 4,303. Oh, you want to do some Diablo? Stay a while and listen? Oh, yes, yes, yes. That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
How do I look, yellow man?
4,000 pages. Look, if I'm lying, I'm flying.
Benjamin Loken Super Chat $2. You're wrong. Twitter will win Getty.
You're right, Ben. I'm sorry. Twitter will win. Excuse me. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. What is this cover book, by the way? What is this? What is this book cover? Okay. Cody Lee is Harman Smith. Cody Lee is Harman Smith. Jaw of the Dragon.
Pigeon
Prologue.
Salad Super Chat $2. 4,303 pages. Futa gods help us.
That's right. The gazebo was a work of art, pure white in color. It stood surrounded by a vast garden of some of the most colorful and vibrant flowers in
Nyan
the
Super
village.
Chat $2. Almost thought we gonna read Harman book.
This is it. This is the book. Sophie felt a little intimidated as she stepped past the cobblestone path up to the gazebo. This place was reserved for use by the most esteemed knights in the order. A place where they can soak in natural beauty while discussing important matters. It has come as a bit of a shock that she had been invited to have tea here. A single blonde woman sat at a table in the gazebo, tea in one hand. She was glancing at a file she held in her other hand. She did not appear to have noticed her, but Sophie knew better than to make assumptions. When she came within 6 steps of the gazebo itself, she bent over. What? What? What do you mean? Who bent over? Bent over? It's already bland and full of Okay. Milady. Milady. Milady, she said, and curtsied. The woman looked up. Ah, Lady Langley, she said. A pleasure to see you, truly. I trust you are well? I am, Sophie said, trying to keep her voice formal. I have not seen much of you as of late, mother. Lucille Langley set the file down. She glanced up at Sophie through her glasses, frowning. Sophie felt a pang of fear flash through her. She was sure that she was about to be reprimanded for being overly familiar to her superior. Sophita, she said. Please have a seat. Is it Sophia or Sophita? Or Sophie? Sophie stepped up to the
Mr.
dais.
Two opinionated super chat $5. That cover is a picture of Cody fighting for Nintendo.
Yes. Sophie stepped up to the dais and up to the table. She bowed again, hoping she would be reasonably formal. She was being reasonably formal before taking her seat
Daniel
across
Lawson
from her.
Super Chat $5. All the Banjo and Kazooie nuts and bolts fans raging at Zelda lol.
Exactly. She watched Lucille expectantly as she gave her tea one last sip before setting that down as well. These are, she said, difficult times for the Order.
Pigeon Salad Super Chat $5. Fairest maiden, it is an honor to meet you. I am Lord Bendover.
Okay. Sophie said nothing. She sat with her hands folded across her lap, carefully taking in every little motion, every word. She hoped she looked at the picture of a perfect lady. She hoped she looked the picture of a perfect lady. Knight. The Eye of the Dragon, she said, wreaked havoc across his community. He killed several fine knights and injured many more. Our dear friend Margaret Meyer among them. Sophie nodded. The memory of Margaret's passing haunted her, even now. She hadn't cried, not lately, but every time her death was mentioned, it brought a strong pain in her chest. Their sacrifice, the woman said, was not in vain. Okay, is it Lucille that's talking? Because he doesn't have to write the woman, or is it Lucille or someone else? I don't get it. Who's talking? Through our combined efforts, we defeated the Eye of the Dragon and have held him here, deep in the prison of our cathedral. Sophie bowed her head. It was too steep of a price to pay, she said, her voice grim. Who? Who said it?
Golden Apples Super Chat $1.99. Imagine Harman Smith as a Meat Canyon character, embarrassed smiley face.
Who said what? Did Sophie say it? Or did Lucille? Who's talking? The writing is so bad. It's like he's just assuming everything. Jesus Christ. I literally gave this guy $10, bro. Literally gave this person $10 to read this fucking thing. 10
Go
fucking
Fish
dollars.
Super Chat $2. What did you do to prepare for a role in The Flash?
A lot of pull-ups. A lot of pull-ups. Yeah. Okay. It was not, the woman answered. Sophie looked up, her eye flashing angrily before the woman continued speaking. You underestimate the value of the Eye of the Dragon possesses, or that the Eye of the Dragon possesses. You saw how much damage he caused by coming here, unprepared and with no allies. He had no plan, no strategy, and yet we could do nothing to stop him. He tore through our ranks like butter, slaughtered all who crossed his path. A dragon like that could very well have eliminated us all. He tore through our ranks like butter. Who is he?
Jungan Super Chat $2. I cannot wait to see if there is a self-insert.
I don't even want to. Sophie bowed her head again. She had spoken out of turn. What? We don't even know who's talking, bro. Be that as it may, the woman continued. I will not deny that these deaths have been a major blow to us. Critical operations all over the world have fallen to pieces. in part due to lack of personnel, but also a severe loss of morale. Many Knights have lost beloved friends and comrade in this conflict, and comrades, plural, rads, multiple comrade. And the void will not be so easily filled.
Try to relax your anus.
Sophie knew that if she spoke, she would only put her foot in her mouth again. She sat tight-lipped. When did Sophie speak? We don't know. All we see is she said, not Sophie or the mom. It's just she. This is why, the woman said, which we know is her mother, not just a woman. That doesn't make any sense to call her from a third person, but okay. Exceptional trainees are being considered for roles in the field. I'm told your friend Stella Maris is working under Captain Delaray.
Highlander 001 Super Chat $2. Reading the back of a box of cereal is better.
It has to be. I think it's the location. I don't know. I think it may not be 4,000 pages. Sophie gave a soft smile. That's a good position for her. She loves the water.
Benjamin Loken Super Chat $2. Oh boy. This is going swell.
Yeah.
Lord help us.
Mm-hmm. She's been training her entire life for it, the woman said, and has already proven herself to be quite the asset. I've entered discussions with your teachers for you to do the same. Sophie had to stop herself.
Pigeon Salad Super Chat $2. Nutrition facts have better narration.
They do. Sophie had to stop herself from falling out of her chair at these next words. She was never in the chair. She bowed. She
Crazy
never sat
J
down.
Voices Super Chat $5. Greetings, milady. I am Sir Big John Shaft, Master of Dong Style.
Master of Dong Style, yes. As your mother, Lucille Langley said, and glancing at the file in front of her, I feel that your teachers don't have the best view of your potential as a knight. So then why would you say Lucille here, but then over here you say she and the woman? Are there more than two people there? If it's Lucille, then it shouldn't be woman. It should be Lucille continued. I don't know who is talking. Let me get comfortable. Yeah, it's a bedtime story. I feel that your teachers don't have the best view of your potential as a knight. They call you lazy and boy crazy. Oh. You're often noticed daydreaming instead of training. Sophie could not believe it. Had her mother really called her out here just to criticize her grades? She was just about to open her mouth to retort, but her mother shook her instead. Oh, shook her head. I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Shook her head. Excuse me. That was me. That was me. That was shook her head. That was me. I was reading too fast. I, however, have noticed that you possess a unique skill, she said. Who? Who said? Who's she?
Super Chat $2.
Who's she?
I am glad I passed creative writing in college.
Who's she? One that I feel none other than myself have the capacity to perform. I think you alone have what our order needs for our immediate future. Sophie swallowed. What is it? Lucille smiled. You are, she said. Who is she? Perhaps the only person who understands how to control the claw of the dragon. There were no words between them. Silence filled the air. Jack? She repeated.
Pigeon Salad Super Chat $5.
Who is
Harman's
talking?
writing is so bad, he's turned us into Chris Tucker in Rush Hour 3. Also, why is somebody talking to a barbed wire baseball bat?
Who is talking, Harman? Harman, who is speaking at this moment? Who is Jack? Where's the bussy of the dragon? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to find out. Everything, Lucille answered. Jack, in less than a year of training, has become far stronger than most knights in the order.
$2. I have seen better writing in an adult movie.
Yes, Highlander. He has become a monster. If he so desired it, he could turn his wrath onto us. But he doesn't, Sophie said, a little confused. He likes us. Yes, Lucille said. Oh, finally, he's doing it right. Now he's doing it right. For now. She leaned forward. That's when you use she. You've already established who was talking. Good job. We did it. Way to go. Do you know why Jack respects me so? I do not. Who said this? Who said this? Who said it? We don't know who. Is it because I offered him a chance, Lucille said? A chance to live the life he had on a primal level, craved above all else? I took him away from his drab, boring, everyday life and pushed him into becoming something more. I helped him understand his true nature. She fucked him. She fucked him. Yeah, it's weird the way it's doing the pages thing. Lucille's glasses flashed in the sun. Did he just do the anime glasses flash? Did he just really do that? Did he really just do the anime glasses flash?
Quiet try super chat $5. Sonju comics have a better narrative structure than Harman's fanfiction.
I was there for him where no one else was, she said. Who?
Painful Otter super chat $2.20. Look at the bottom. 56 out of 4,303.
Yeah, then we're just moving, baby. His loyalty to me is unquestionable. He respects my wishes and he does his best to see them through, to the best of his ability. He has trained his powers...
Devastator 2000 super chat $2.20. Who would buy this book? It's not that good XD.
It's not. Okay, let's continue here. She paused, and he will get stronger, she said. If I were to die or if he were to lose faith in me, he would have no reason to stay aligned with the order. She adjusted her glasses, the light reflected off them, oddly in such a way that Sophie could not make her eyes. You are my flesh and blood, Lucille said. You must be my proxy. You must keep Jack on a tight leash, and by any means necessary. For as long as possible, until our enemies must be destroyed. Until our enemies are destroyed, Harman. Are destroyed. Okay? She set her hand on her tea. My hands are tied with keeping the eye of the dragon restrained. I cannot be here to deal with him as I once did. Her hand drifted away from the cup of tea to the file. I have collected, she said, a list of 10 individuals that need to be killed. Jack's lust for blood is what truly drives him, Sophie. You must guide him like a dog on a chain to his enemy, and when the time comes, let him loose. Sophie took the file to her heart beating wildly in her chest. Oh, Sophie took the file, her heart beating wildly in her chest. As of today, Lucille said, as she got to her feet, you are no longer a trainee. You are a full-fledged knight with a mission. Pray do not disappoint me.
1 super chat $2. You can write a better book just using super chats.
I probably could. 10 fighters remain. Bella Stone, Medusa, Greece. What the fuck? What is this? What is 10 fighters remain? Bella Stone, Medusa, Greece. It was one of the most awkward trips Sophie had ever been on.
Crazy J voices super chat $5. What Harman is doing, not mentioning who is talking, only works when you first establish a conversation between two characters, but one has to lead it.
Exactly, Crazy J. That's correct. Who published this? He did. Himself. Those are 3 fighters. It's not jumping 30 pages. It's under location. It's weird. Kindle does a weird thing. It's not pages. I don't know what this writing is. It was one of the most awkward trips Sophie had ever been on. She and Jack had made quite the odd pair, going to the airport and dealing with normal people. So what the fuck is even happening? There's an airport now? I thought they were knights.
Exposed.
Why are they at an airport? I thought they were knights. Wait a minute, chat. Hold on. Hold on. Sophie, being 10 years younger, had to be the adult. Reining in Jack whenever he got distracted or had no idea what was going on. Mother had warned her that dealing with him was exhausting. She had greatly underestimated how much. 10 years younger. Don't tell me about the monster we're after, he had told her before he had fallen asleep on the plane. I want to go in blind. Blind, she shrieked, holding the file in front of her. You could die. Wouldn't be fair, Jack said, if I have a plan and she doesn't. And he had refused to budge. I don't know how old Jack is. Sophie grimaced, bundling up the file in her hand. She had in her fury almost thrown it out and let Jack let himself get killed, but thankfully had chosen to preserve it. Bella Stone had not been familiar with that name. She'd heard who? Yo, who's Bella Stone? You think Jack is a self-insert? Bella Stone. She had not been familiar with that name. She had heard a lot of stories regarding the most dangerous people on Earth, but none about her. She found herself pursuing the woman's file while en route to Greece. So, chat, this is apparently modern day. I don't know what is happening, chat. Officially, Bella Stone was a human who owned a gallery of stone statues that's why she's called Bella Stone. That's why she's called Bella Stone. She was considered a very beautiful, if somewhat eccentric, wealthy woman who spent her days collecting the most exquisite stone statues in the world. The reality, however, was very different. Bella Stone was a Medusa, a creature that could turn people into stone with her gaze alone. He named her Bella Stone because she was a Medusa. Chris said, thank you for the 5 gifted, my boy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A Medusa. Not Medusa. A Medusa. Medusa is the name of a gorgon. A gorgon is what turns you to stone, not a Medusa. Gorgons turn you to stone via gaze. Medusa is the most powerful gorgon. The Medusi, yes. Let him cook, says chat. Yeah, Zender, let him cook. Yes. Let him cook. Let me get that Medusi.
WWJNZ Super Chat $5. Paying you to stop reading.
I will stop reading if I get a $50 super chat. That's what we'll do. I'll stop reading if we get a 50 and we'll do another video. A creature that could turn people into stone with her gaze alone. Her museum, composed entirely of those who were victims of her curse, was the only tourist attraction in a small community that desperately needed money from wealthy tourists. As a result, the corrupt humans allowed this creature to continue expanding her ever-growing collection of whatever famous heroes she can get her hands on. This kind of story was not at all uncommon throughout the world. Sophie had read the file and was quite sure that what made Bella Stone such a high-profile target. The standard process for killing Medusa, the Perseus method, still worked very well today.
Your shoulders.
All one had to do was expose the creature to her own reflection to destroy it. The Perseus method. The fucking Perseus method. Jack's refusal to learn about the target ahead of time was a very dangerous decision for him. Sophie was sure that it was this kind of thinking attitude. We could just remove thinking. Sophie was sure that it was this kind of attitude that led Mother to ask her to supervise him. Supervise is supervise misspelled? No. Well, on the bright side, the sooner he got himself killed, the sooner she could go home. The thought cheered her up just a little bit. The plane touched down at their destination without any issue. The normal people stood around them, bustled, chatting amongst themselves pleasantly as Jack stood up, stretched, and yawned. "Let's go get her," he said. She stared at him. "Now?" "Yes, now," he said. "I was ready before we even left the cathedral." He turned away from her and made his way off the plane. Sophie panicked, turned and grabbed their things before trotting after him. She lugged around the giant suitcase with no effort in spite of her size. She was much stronger than she looked. "Where is she?" he asked, conversationally, once she had caught up with him. "Not now," Sophie hissed, casting dark looks all around. "We need to find lodgings and rest." "You can handle that after the fight," Jack said. There was no arguing with him. Sophie whipped out her portfolio and pursued it. "From here," she said, "we need to take a car and go to her museum." She had to handle the fare and chit-chat around the airport despite the language barrier. Jack took no notice of the people around them and refused to attempt to speak to them all. Sophie found herself annoyed by this. It made him look like an absolute fool. She had to remind herself that this was exactly why she had been asked to lead him around to his targets. Percy Jackson wannabe, apparently. This is a very bad job at world building. It really, really is. The museum was far bigger. When did they get there? Holy shit, they just fucking showed up there? Jesus Christ. The museum was far bigger and grander than any of the buildings in the area. While most buildings they had passed were quaint little shops or modest homes, the museum towered over them, rather like a palace. It was a grand building with beautiful marble pillars and floors. There's really no description. This is no world building. We teleported to the museum. It was also empty. Not a soul was in sight. "This isn't their tourist season," Sophie noted. Should we knock?" Jack climbed up the large white staircase and approached their door. Sophie followed closely behind as he raised his hand. "Kirk!" My man literally wrote Kirk. Skrrr! Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he wrote. That's exactly what he wrote. Jack punched forward, his fist splitting through the door and out the other side. What? Why would you make this sound and then have him punch the door? He twisted his wrist around and unlocked it. When he pulled away, he raised his leg and kicked it open. The crash resounded around the room. "Must you be so deplorable?" Sophie asked as they stepped across the threshold and into the house. "You've come to kill someone. You can at least knock." Jack waved his hand at her. She fell silent as her eyes slowly rose upwards to the top of the beautiful stairwell in front of them. Bella Stone was standing there, staring down at them impassively. Her hair was curled back in what appeared to be in odd-looking braids. Those are the snakes, chat. But Sophie was sure that it was simply the snakes in her hair hiding amongst themselves. She was dressed in a bright green emerald dress that likely would have matched her skin if she hadn't been trying to pass herself as human. She raised her... Jack is Harman. You think Jack is Harman? I think so as well. I think Jack is the Harman Smith self-insert, chat. I really, really, really do. For some insane reason, I think that's the case. Fucking E-Rock, I can't, dude. You're fucking nuts, bro. I just got your pick. You're insane. All right, hold on a second, chat.
Shake, tomorrow is Sunday.
You're right, church.
Shake, tomorrow is Sunday.
You're right, church.
Oh. No, I don't think it's a chapter format at all, no. She raised a cigarette to her mouth and then lowered it, puffing out a little smoke. "Welcome," she said, her voice cold, "to the Hall of Heroes." Sophie shirked away from her as she descended the stairs, unwilling to meet her eyes. Jack, however, stood tall and unafraid, staring right at her. "You are trespassing," Stone said quietly but firmly. "I will give you a single chance to leave." Jack rose his hand. His hand had become a beautiful blue claw.
Deploying flashbang.
How about let me try to ad lib on this, chat. You ready? I'm gonna ad lib. Jack slowly. This is me making this up. Okay, ready? This is all off the top of my head. Jack slowly rose his hand. As he looked at it, we'll do this. Jack slowly rose his hand. Sophie, creeping from behind him slowly, watched him as his hand began to shape and curl and twist itself, fingers and bones cracking and snapping as Jack kept his hand raised into the air. It began to form, twist, and turn into this blue marble-like structure as it continually twisted and snapped as bones cracked inside, and his wrist began to swell. Jack's hand then twisted in an odd shape as it flicked back and forth, turning itself into a claw, directly sharp, glistening in the light of the marble between the floor and the walls. That's how you fucking do it! Yeah, like Devil May Cry. That's how you do it. That was that was just me just thinking about it. His hand became the devil bringer, yes. Literally. Literally. Visual storytelling is not allowed in this book. No, it's not. I got to get rim for that? I wish, dude. I need to get my ass eaten for real. Off the bat, I did it better. Harman back to elementary school. Oh, he loved Devil May Cry after all this shit talking. He really did.
Benjamin Loken Super Chat $5. This is your mind speaking. Stop reading.
No, we're not. Over your dead body.
Pigeon Salad Super Chat $5.
No.
Jack with a claw-like appendage on his hand. This dude made a dollar store Jack Krauser / Percy Jackson hybrid and I hate it. Alex did it better.
How quaint, Stone said. Tell me, sir, may I have the honor of learning your name? Jack lowered his hand. It should be a claw. It's Jack. Wait, is he making a Jack the Ripper? Jack, Bella said, nodding. Do you consider yourself a hero? I don't consider myself anything. Bella stared at him as if trying to make sense of his words. In an ancient Greek myth, she said at last, in the age of the gods, she turned around and walked back up the stairs, gesturing with her free hand to the ornate glass windows where images of the 12 Olympians stared down at them as if judging them. Heroes were men who were considered themselves to be above ordinary people, she explained. They were exemplary warriors. They were cunning. They did not necessarily bow to petty morality. She cast a look back at him. I can sense the same aura coming from you. Jack said nothing.
Devastator 2000 Super Chat $2 Canadian and 20 cents. Harman most likely failed English class XD.
Listen, we're gonna keep going, chat. We're gonna keep this train going, okay? Greek thinking, Bella continued as she continued. Literally, Greek thinking, Bella continued as she continued her climb up the stairs. Greek thinking, Bella said as she continued her climb up the stairs, is how it should have been written, is far more honest and true to human nature than contemporary works. In modern day stories, the hero is nearly flawless, untouchable, a beacon of morality, and a standard that all men should aspire to be. She reached the top of the stairs and turned around, staring down at them once more. Greek myth, she said, emphasizes the folly of human nature, how we're all selfish and cruel, how we all have petty desires that destroy us and put us out of favor with the gods. She raised her cigarette to her lips again. And yet they have survived the ages, she said, longer than any man, longer than any country and king. They stand tall, proud until the end of the world crushes them completely. She threw the cigarette to the side and stood up tall. I want to see if there's a fight scene. Tell me, Jack, she said, which are you? Jack raised his clawed finger at all. What the fuck? Is it a claw or a clawed finger? He writes like Chris Chan draws. That's a good analogy, Aaron. That's actually a great analogy. He writes like Chris Chan draws. I don't care. Bella said nothing. She stared down at him with a calculating look. I don't care about your heroes, Jack said. I don't care about this place or what you do here. Oh, he's so Sigma. All I'm thinking about right now is tearing you to bits. Oh my God. I see you are every bit the man I thought you were, Bella said, as she turned around. Instantly, the stone statues on either side of the giant staircase, sprung to life and stomped their way over to them. Over to him, excuse me. Bella Stone walked forward through the tall door at the top of the stairs out of their sight as the first statue, a giant minotaur, bore down upon them. It raised its axe in its hands over its head and brought it down onto Jack's head. He neatly stepped out of the way and stared up at the statue with a bored expression on his face. There was no thrill, no excitement, no fun in taking down an unliving opponent.
Boom 808 Super Chat 50.
Oh!
I'll save us from Harman Smith. Smiling face.
Boom! Oh shit. All right. Let's do the last page. Come on, chat. We'll do the last page. Let's do the last page. Here we go. Let's just do the last page and then we're done. We'll do the last page. They pulled their hands back and slammed them together again. This time, Jack's hardened claws had managed to break the bones of the jaw's fist. He pulled away scowling as Jack went in for another punch on that side. The fist went straight into the jaw's mouth. He opened his mouth wide and clamped down. Arr! The scales on Jack's arm shattered like tissue paper. The jaw ripped his arm upward and completely ripping it off. Jack pulled away, ignoring the bloody stump on his right hand, and immediately moved in with his left before the jaw could swallow the claw whole. Jack punched his stomach so hard that he was forced to spit it out. The claw landed harmlessly on the ground as Jack pulled back for another strike. The jaw lunged, grabbed his arm, and went in for another bite. Arrgh! Jack stepped back, the bleeding stumps on both of his arms squirting blood across the desert. The jaw smiled and bent down to his head. Jack raised the stumps to defend himself and immediately New's claws sprung up where the old ones had been ripped off.
Cents. This your $10 refund. You can stop reading.
We're going to do this last page, I promise. The jaw had no time to react when Jack thrust his new arms into his mouth and pried it open. The jaw struggled vainly, but Jack quickly worked. He gritted his teeth.
Alex just bought my first PC.
Congrats.
Just wondering if I need like 520 watts for my SU and I have a 500 watt SU. Will my PC get fried? I'm not overclocking. Also,
Joseph, I don't know what graphics card you have or CPU, so it all depends on that. The jaw struggled vainly, but Jack quickly worked. He gritted his teeth and with a mighty lurch, gripped the upper and lower halves of his mouth. And with one furious rip, Jack tore the man in half. Right down the middle. That's not how it works. His blood poured over him as he stood there in the desert, gasping for breath. He could barely move. The shock and awe of what had just happened completely overwhelmed him. He stood there completely blankly, as over the horizon an entire battalion of tanks came rolling towards him. They came at a stop about 100 feet away and looked at them. The jaw of the dragon is dead. Long live the Soviet Union! What? Long live the Soviet Union!
WWJNZ Super Chat $2. What the sugar honey iced tea?
I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know, dude. I truly don't know. This is just...